The one who needs less controls more. The moment you start caring too much, you lose leverage. Not because caring is weak, but because it becomes visible. And what people can't see, they can use. Most people misunderstand caring. They think it builds connection, trust, value. But excessive emotional investment does something else. It creates dependency, and dependency shifts power, because now you are no longer neutral. You are invested, and anything invested can be influenced. Section 1: Care and Perception. People don't respond to your intentions, they respond to your emotional signals. When you care too much, it becomes visible in your behavior. You reply faster, you over-explain, you seek reassurance, you adjust your tone. And these signals communicate one thing: I am emotionally attached to the outcome. And attachment lowers perceived strength, because stability is replaced by need. Section 2: Why less care equals more control. When you care less, you stop reacting emotionally. You gain space between stimulus and response. And in that space, you regain control. Now your actions are not driven by emotion. They are driven by intention, and intention is harder to predict and harder to manipulate. Section 3: Attention and Value. Value is not created by effort alone. It is created by emotional independence. When you don't appear overly invested, your presence becomes less needy, and less neediness creates curiosity, respect, psychological distance. People are drawn to what does not depend on them, not because of cruelty, but because of uncertainty. Section 4: Emotional detachment versus emotional absence. Detachment is not indifference, it is control over emotional expression. You still feel, but you don't broadcast it. You still care, but you don't depend on outcomes. This separation creates internal stability, and stability changes how others perceive you. You become harder to read, harder to influence, harder to position. Section 5: Social Dynamics of Not Caring. When you care less, people notice. They begin to adjust their behavior. because they can no longer predict your reactions, and unpredictability creates attention. Now the dynamic shifts. They start trying to maintain your interest instead of you chasing theirs. Conclusion: caring is not the problem, overcaring is. Because overcaring reveals position, and once your position is revealed, it can be influenced. So, care less in expression, not in principle. Because the less emotionally visible you are, the more control you maintain in every interaction. Call to action. Subscribe, not to care less about life, but to care with control. Join our community of Shadow Monarchs. Here we reveal the dark side of human mind and social dynamics. Follow for more.